metallic blue Toyota RAV4 blew through a DHS weapons inspection checkpoint, and is now heading northbound on M65. If you spot this vehicle, please contact local law enforcement immediately, as this individual is suspected to be involved in the local Freedom Legion, and is expected to be armed and dangerous. Remember that the state of Michigan is under martial law and a curfew is in effect. Please do not travel before the hours of 6 a.m. or after 5 p.m. All travel must be to and from work or to get essential supplies. All gatherings of more than 5 unrelated individuals are strictly prohibited, and the Second Amendment has been suspended. The Coalition for National Rebirth thanks you for your continued cooperation. God bless the Coalition, and God bless America. This message will repeat.
Welcome back to Michigan Gun Guys. Whether you are out in the middle of the woods or you're stuck in the middle of traffic on I-75, a concealed pistol might not be enough, and a full kit's going to draw the wrong type of attention. Today we're looking at a tool meant to live comfortably in the middle of that, the KelTec Sub2000. To understand a KelTec Sub2000, first you need to kind of understand KelTec. So founded by the great George Kellgren, KelTec is a company that's famous, or sometimes infamous, for its innovation. As stated by the great AK Jesus and future Congressman Brandon Herrera, KelTec is funneled by the Cocoa Beach, Florida Coke. So their R&D department has a lot of crazy ideas. One of them being this little plastic foldy boy. So the Sub2000 is the successor to the Sub9. Sub2000 first came out in 2001 and has gone through several generations. So the first generation was a direct improvement on the Sub9, but there was still a lot that they had to go through in order to improve the gun. The Generation 2 added M-lock attachments to the side of the barrel, and the Generation 3 further improved on the Generation 2 design by having a barrel that not only folds closed but also rotates, so you can have optics mounted onto the front of the gun. Previous generations of the Sub2000 just had flip-down iron sights that were built into the gun, and you could only fold it all the way back if you only just had those iron sights on there. You couldn't fold it with a mounted red dot. I prefer to run this with just irons, but plenty of people are running them with red dots on them.
And does that rotate both directions?
It does.
And obviously with it rotating that way, you can have optics on top and then any sort of foregrip attachment or anything like that on the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, when you have an optic up top and a foregrip attachment on the bottom, then you're kind of affecting its packability a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
But, I mean, you can be smart and you can pack around that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm wondering if they make an FRT for this.
Probably not. It's made out of Florida beach plastic. But they do make one for the Vector, which is another reason why mine's better than yours.
So the KelTec Sub2000 is one of KelTec's most successful products. It's really what put the company on the map. And that is why you can find this gun in so many calibers. So this one is in 9mm, but you can find it in 10mm. You can find it in 5.7. You can also find it in cucked 10mm, which is also known as 40 Smith & Wesson. And the reason why it comes in so many calibers is because it has a lot of mag compatibilities with different magazine companies and different OEMs. So this runs Glock 17 and Glock 19 mags. They have them that will run M&P mags. They have them that will run Sig Sauer mags. Don't buy a Sig.
Just don't do it. Do not. They're garbage. Don't buy Sig.
But whatever is your standard carry pistol, you can find you almost certainly can find a version of the Sub2000 that can take those pistol mags.
Two caveats with that though. As far as I know, and you've looked into this, they don't have one that's compatible with HK mags. Because HK uses proprietary mags for like the VP9, the HK45, the USPs. Second caveat is you did find that the ETS mags that work with Glock 17 and Glock 19s, and also my Vector, do have issue with that gun.
Yes. So if you're going to get a magazine for these guns, I would recommend buying if you're getting at least a Glock version. I don't have any experience with the other versions of the Sub 2000, but if you're getting at least a Glock version, either get the OEM Glock mags for this gun or get the Magpul P mags for Glocks. If you get the ETS mags, I was literally jamming every 2 or 3 shots, having double feeds. Once I switched over to the Magpul P mags, I think we put a couple hundred rounds through this gun today. Just out here having a good time. I think I only have 1 jam.
Yeah.
So and I think that was more of the ammo than it was the magazine, because then we ran 2 more magazines through it, and it was just fine. So yeah, don't get the extended 40 round ETS magazines. As nice as those are, I would stick to the 27 round Glock P mags, or get the 33 round just Glock mags if you want a higher capacity for these.
Also, in theory, that we haven't tested it, it should work with the Chris Vector mags themselves, because all of those is a 17 round Glock magazine with an extension kit. So it should function with those as well.
So one thing, so compared to the Gen 2, the Gen 3 does lack iron sights, and the gun does not ship with iron sights. So you are going to have to buy your own iron sights or your red dot for it. Like I said, plenty of people prefer to run a red dot on these. Since this lives in my backpack essentially as a backpack gun for my get home bag, I prefer to have the iron sights in there. It makes it a little bit easier to stow, just because these flip down, and also like you don't have to worry about a battery failing on you as well. So one final thing to note, this does have a threaded barrel, so you can run a suppressor on this if you do so desire. I do plan on eventually getting a suppressor for this. All in all, for everything you get for this package, I mean, this gun costs about $450. It is the cheapest firearm that I own. Yeah, so for $450, I'm happy with the performance I'm getting out of this. It's also cheap enough to where it can live in my get home bag in my car, and I'm not too concerned about it if my car gets broken into and this gets stolen. Unlike if I had a SBR AR or a $1,700 Chris Vector with a $500 EOTech on it.
Hey, I only paid $250 for this EOTech off a gun broker. Thank you very much. But yes, his point does remain true. As nice of a platform as the Chris Vector is, especially with recoil control with the Super V system and potential for force reset triggers. Obviously, if this gun gets stolen, it's a lot more expensive for me to replace than something made out of plastic.
Yeah, like that gets I could afford to replace something that cost me $450. Like tomorrow if that happened, like it would suck, but it's whatever. At $1,700, that's kind of where I'd be like, I'm not going to replace that. I'm just going to file a police report and hope for the best.
Or go looking for it for myself. This is not legal advice.
So because this folds down to 16 inches and then unfolds to the size of a normal AR, like 30 inches, this is the undisputed king of backpack guns. You can throw this in a standard day pack or like a 2 or 3 day backpack just fine. And it doesn't look like a rifle bag, which means you don't look like a target. This has kind of replaced my my Glock or my 2011 for when I'm out hiking, because this fits in pretty much all of my rucks perfectly. It provides me an important capability that my pistols don't, which is just ease of use and accuracy at distance. So speaking of capability gap, why would you want something like this? As I kind of stated earlier in the video, this provides a capability that lives somewhere in between your concealed carry kit and an overt carry. So your concealed carry pistol is for immediate threats at close range. Your AR-15 and your plate carrier, that's for the world has completely gone to shit. So what about the gray man scenarios? What if your city that you're in is in civil unrest and your car breaks down 10 miles away from home? So the Sub 2000 gives you carbine level control and a foldable pack down rifle. Most importantly, it gives you 3 points of contact. It gives you your stock, it gives you your grip, and then it gives you your handguard. while also maintaining the similar manual of arms that you would have to a rifle, and also have maintaining the magazines that you'd run in your standard carry pistol. So this would essentially just stay in your get home bag until it absolutely needs to be deployed. We'll have more about the doctrine behind that and what you should have in a get home bag in a future video. So on the range, it performs exactly how a blowback 9mm should. The recoil is a little snappy because of the heavy bolt. It's definitely not as nice as Daedalus's Vector, and the cheek weld isn't the most comfortable thing in the world, especially with your pro, but it is incredibly flat shooting out of a 16-inch barrel. 124 grain 9mm only picks up about 200 FPS, but your gain in accuracy versus a handgun increases tenfold for most shooters. Making shots at 50 to 100 yards is effortless compared to a handgun. So, took me probably like 2 or 3 shots each to get on target with those fucking, with those fucking Fago bottles. Now, again, we're only probably about 15, 20 feet away. You know, that'd be enough to fucking, like, you know, if I was in a self-defense situation, that'd be enough for me to draw and then dump into someone if I need to. But again, it's a lot easier to be accurate with the Sub2000 because you can get, 3 points of aim on target, right? You have your cheek weld, you have your hand on the grip, right? You have your hand up on the handguard as well.
So my thoughts are this gun is a piece of shit, but it's a cheap piece of shit. So, I mean, this costs like what, $400?
$450.
$450, and this costs $1,700. So, I mean, for the price, I mean, yeah, it's got some issues, but I mean, at the end of the day, it does work. Granted, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose the Vector every time. I flicked the safety up. But both function decently as pistol caliber carbines. It's just obviously it's you get your money's worth. I mean, this one is going to perform better overall with recoil and accuracy, especially once you get used to the height over bore. This one isn't bad, but I mean, it does have some issues with feeding. It definitely does not like these magazines, as you found out. Whereas the Vector will feed those magazines, the 33-round Glock magazines, the 17-round Glock magazines, the 40-round Chris Vector magazines. Whereas yours is a little bit more picky.
So let's talk about deployment doctrine. This is not going to be the primary weapon that you are doing CQB with and clearing houses. The idea here is concealability over immediate readiness. If you have to use this thing, you would seek cover, unpack this from your bag, throw in the magazine, rack the bolt back, and when you're ready to go. It would allow you to make more accurate shots downrange versus with a pistol. It's still not an ideal situation to be in. The idea is that if you are using this in a shit hits the fan situation, it is to get rounds downrange and then break contact. This is not something that you are going to be fighting people who have ARs or any actual real rifles with. If you do that, you are absolutely going to get folded. This is basically, it's just a concealed rifle that you carry with you as kind of like a last resort type of thing to get your ass home and back safe to your family. So my final thoughts on this KelTec Sub2000. It's not perfect. The trigger is stiff and the charging handle is kind of a pain in the ass to rack. It's definitely not as well refined as something like a MP5 or a Chris Vector, but for the price There is nothing else that does what the KelTec Sub2000 does at its price point as well as it does. Ruger tries, M&P tries, High Point tries. None of them are as good as this gun when it comes to just how well it packs down, or the weight that you have with this firearm. And because of that, it deserves a place in my EDC loadout. Thank you for watching Michigan Gun Guys. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. We also have a Patreon as well, so if you'd like to support us so we can keep making videos on this, I will have a link to that in the description. As always, this is Ogre. This is
Daedalus.
Stay safe, stay dangerous. I'll see you in the next video.
Wait. We have a Patreon?
Yeah.
Who told you to set up a Patreon?
POV. You're telling me, trust me, bro, you're totally not in the Epstein files. POV. You're not beating the Epstein allegations. POV. You're in the splash zone.